number of years ago when I was working in the UK, a colleague I was working alongside started to display some very unusual behaviour. Some days he would be extremely charming and engaging and polite and thoughtful. Other days he'd be rude and arrogant and be a real bully and a nightmare to be around, and we couldn't figure out what it was. It turns out he was actually been drinking. He was actually an alcoholic, and he was drinking about a bottle of vodka every morning, or at least some mornings he was. And what happened was, when he'd been drinking, he was engaging and charming and decisive and great fun to be around. When he hadn't been drinking, he was a nightmare. And we didn't know what we were going to get. The challenge was, for all of us, we could deal with him when he was either going to be charming and engaging or being arrogant and being a bully. We could deal with either of those situations. The biggest challenge we found was the inconsistency. We didn't know what we were going to get. Now, he had his own personal challenges, and what happened to him, I really don't know. But the challenge there was that his brand, and talking about personal branding, was inconsistent. The first lesson, the first rule of personal branding is whatever you do, you need to be consistent about it. You need to be predictable. A brand is about being trustworthy. It's being able to be looked at by an individual and say, I know what I'm going to get when I engage with that person. So the challenge is for you in terms of personal branding, what is it that you do consistently that gets you noticed? What is it that you do that consistently builds trust? What is it that you do that builds reliability in your immediate network? For all of us, we've got three choices about branding. We can be consistently good, consistently bad, or just consistently inconsistent. And there's only one of those that actually serves us, and clearly it's being consistently good. We have to be consistently good and trustworthy. Some people say to me, well, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm an administrator, I'm a director of a business. I don't need a personal brand. But actually you do, because that's how you get selected. It's how you get chosen for projects, for contracts, for opportunities. Imagine if you had to choose a new accountant for your business, and all the accountants out there are listening real careful now, I guess. But imagine you had to choose an accountant for your business. You line up 5 accountants against a wall, tempting as that may be, and your job is to choose one. How will you choose between them? Now, the challenge for accountants or anybody in any profession is they're equally qualified, they all look sort of the same, and they say the same things. Now, if I can't tell the difference between 5 people lined up against a wall, they all look the same to me, I'm going to judge them on price. I'm going to choose the cheapest, which is not a good way of buying, but if I can't tell the difference between them, in terms of their brand, their reputation, reliability and trustworthiness, if I can't tell the difference, I'll judge the choice on price, and that's a real danger. Again, even before I was working with my colleague, I was running a company over in just outside Birmingham. I was a manager over there, and I had a phone call come through one Christmas Eve, and he was a chairman, and he simply said to me this, and you can think, what would you say if you received this phone call? He simply said to me on Christmas Eve, around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he said, David, I've got an opportunity for you. Okay, great. What's the opportunity? He said, what I need you to do is go to Ireland, fly to Dublin, escort some cargo to Dublin. I think it was a pot of paint for an aircraft, had to be taken to the Shannon-free zone. Escorted cargo, get a signature for it. Get it over there. Must be done before everybody closes down for the Christmas break. When you're there, I want you to also go to the Burlington Hotel, pick up a menu, pick up a newspaper, get the menu signed by the head chef, and bring the documents back and the newspaper and the menu back to my office. And I went, okay, yep, give me the address and details, tell me what I'm doing, where I'm going, got the structure, yep, I'm done. I did it, I flew there and came back, and the job was done. About middle of January then, in the following year, I got another phone call from my chairman. He said, look, I want to come and meet with me, I want to explain to you why you did what you did in Christmas Eve before going to Ireland. So I went to meet him over at head office, which was in Cambridge back in those days. And he said to me, look, that was a very unusual request. And in the office with him was some guy that I just didn't know. It turns out that this other chap was from British Aerospace. And my chairman had been pitching to him saying, why should he choose us to be their logistics packaging partner? And the guy from British Aerospace had simply said, why are you guys different? What will you do different than anybody else? And so the guy in British Aerospace gave my chairman a challenge and said, okay, here's a challenge for you. It's Christmas Eve. Get this done, and if you do, that's a potential brownie point for you. So he phoned me. I asked my chairman, why did you phone me? Why, of all the managers you've got, I was the youngest, probably one of the most inexperienced. Why did you choose me? I was in my mid-20s back then. Why did you choose me? And he said simply this, because I knew you'd say yes. Other managers might have gone, why me? I want to think about it, choose somebody else. No, I can't do it. That I made some reason or excuse for it. I didn't, I wouldn't. I said yes and I got on with it. And what happened then was the guy from British Aerospace, he awarded the company the contract, and guess who they wanted to run it? They wanted me to run it as an operations manager. So I got promoted. I had to move house and all that sort of thing that goes with it. But they chose me because my reputation, my brand was saying, yes, getting the job done. That was my brand, which filtered through into the organization. So when we're talking about personal branding, first of all, do you need what is your personal brand? Do you need one? Well, yes, you do need one. And secondly, you've already got one. It's what people say about you when you're not there. It's what they're thinking about you. It's your reputation. So whether you like it or not, you've got a personal brand. The challenge is to take control of it and to manage it. And the choice you can make is to define yourself in the market, within your team, within your organization, as being something unique and special that is reliable, predictable and trustworthy, and adds real value to the organization, to clients, or whatever organization you're in. So the choice you have to make is, what is your personal brand? How do you want to be known? What's your reputation? And what do you want people to think about you and say about you when you're not around?